This is it. I know you've been waiting on this one. I have two of the finest musicians in Marion County next to me. You are checking out Ocala Arts and Entertainment Podcast. We are doing this outside of the corkscrew. We want to say thanks to Tim. But let me tell you, I'm going to save the best for last. But next to me, to my left, far left, furthest left, is the man himself, Keith Caton, blues singer and guitarist. We're going to talk with him. And of course, the beautiful, you listen to this woman sing, let me tell you, all of your problems, if you thought you were experiencing difficulties, she will erase it when she starts to sing for you. The one and only Miss Sheba M. Blues.
The Mississippi
Sheba
Queen.
The Mississippi
Queen.
Queen, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You see how Keith is holding up that there?
All right.
Yeah. Make sure they see that on the camera here, Keith.
Make sure you see that on
And
the
we will
That's
plug
the
it.
new CD.
That's right. We'll plug this some more so that everyone who is looking at this, you need to get that CD. Welcome, guys. I thank you very much for blessing us with this opportunity. Keith, what's going on your neck of the woods?
Well, I'm very happy to see you here in downtown Ocala.
Same here.
And the last time all three of us were in downtown Ocala, we were playing a show over here at the theater.
At the Marion Theater.
And I've been fortunate enough to work. We're going on our 5th year. Next year will be our 5th year
Wow.
that we started this together almost 5 years ago.
Wow.
Playing the blues
Wow.
to take a band up to Memphis for the international blues competition, and made the semifinals, and recorded an album just before the world went sideways, which would be this. And I love working with this lady. And then also people should know that I have my own band that I'm
Yes.
fortunate enough to work with Mr. Sean Thomas.
So Keith, tell me something. How did you meet this wonderful lady? What happened? What brought you guys together to work together?
I had a band for years called the Accelerators.
Okay, the Accelerators. All right.
Sheba had Sheba
And the Rhythm Kings.
And the Rhythm Kings. We used to play a lot of the same places, and you were based in South Florida, right?
Yeah, most of us are Florida.
So I remember seeing her name all the time. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but after you moved to Ocala, we both got asked to be like celebrity judges for a talent contest, and I got
Wow.
to sit next to you, and we talked about the old days where we used
Oh,
to play
okay.
and stuff. And then almost 5 years ago, I'd met some musicians. We were thinking about starting a blues band, and we were in this small little smoky bar south of here, and thinking maybe we could do something to make it up to Memphis and get a name together. And then this lady walked in, and I thought, okay,
It was meant to be.
let's go with her. And it worked, because I love her voice. I love how she sings. I love being with her. I love working with her.
So Sheba,
Thank
you
you.
led this band. Was it a band you led? The band you had?
Well, the band I had in South Florida, Sheba and the Rhythm Kings. Yes, I was. I got with that band. I was around town doing my senior woman shows in different places and all that. And this one band, Rob Moore band, wanted me to come sing with his band. And I started singing with this band at a club called the Poorhouse, downtown Fort Lauderdale.
I remember
Right.
that place.
The Poorhouse.
I
Oh,
remember that.
God, that place. But listen, it stayed open to 4 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yeah.
But the owner of the Poorhouse, they had, every year they had the Riverwalk Blues Festival. And each bars in the area would have a band to represent them.
Right.
And they asked me would I represent them at
Right.
the thing. And what happened, another band wanted me to do it with them. So somehow they worked out, kicked the other band out, what I don't know, but I was So I started doing with Snowman.
Okay.
Snowman, and he put Reed Robertson, bass player, and the drummer behind me. He put some awesome people behind me, and we did a lot of South Florida. We made some. We went back to Mississippi. We went to Memphis. Went different places. We did more major events, unsigned artists. We did a lot of events because Snowman was very good at booking. So that's how I was drifting by you, because we was playing Fort Lauderdale, we were playing the Keys, so we was drifting by each other all the time.
Okay.
I didn't recognize him then because his hair was black. I didn't recognize him.
I'm older now.
I did walk with some dye in my car so I could get some, bring him back to that.
All these are earned, and they all have a name.
Yeah.
I can blame them all on somebody.
Yeah, so that was Sheba and the Rhythm Kings. It was nice. I was with those guys and I did my first CD with them, Butter on My Rose.
Okay.
No, Miss Good and Plenty.
Oh.
Miss Good and Plenty. The first CD I did was with them.
Okay. So, Keith, you started to sharpen your teeth with the accelerators.
That's basically, I was with a band called the Blues Busters for quite a few years. It was really popular around this area, and we did really well, but I wanted to do more. Those guys wanted to do less. And I left the band and started Accelerators, and we...
So you accelerated.
We worked and we toured, and we stayed quite busy. And then it seemed like after 9/11, things kind of... It did. For everybody in every way, things changed. And but I was lucky. I had the opportunity to work with a lot of my heroes and people in the blues business and all. And then just thinking about, 20 years later on, about getting back into it and being with real deal blues people.
Yes.
Yes. There was just something that came out on some media. I don't remember what it was with Sheba band. It's not. How do they put it? It's not a band that plays the blues. It's a blues band.
Right.
And there
that's
is a difference.
That's a big difference.
So to be able to do that again is it's a blessing. I love the music. Love it.
So, Sheba, tell us about your upbringing. How did you end up becoming a blues singer?
Most time, if you're born in Mississippi, you are the blues.
Yeah, you born in blues.
Well, one thing I have to say, when they say I'm the real deal, I came from a background of picking cotton.
Okay.
A lot of the suffering that a lot of black people went through in Mississippi. I was born in Sunflower, Mississippi, and B.B. King was in Indianola, which is about 12 miles from Sunflower. My mother kind of knew him, and someone said that we were some kin to him, but I never got a chance to prove that.
Right.
Because so many black men back them days had all kinds of families, 2 or 3 different families.
Right.
But that's because when I was coming up as a child, it wasn't really blues I was singing. We were mostly singing gospel.
Okay.
Old spirituals and stuff like that. But, and it was mostly on the radio, it was like country music. And a lot of sometimes those old time blues players would come through town. Me being a kid, I couldn't go see them, but we would sneak downtown and peep at them grown folks through the window, dancing on the sawgrass. That sawgrass and those wooden floors. So I really didn't get that much introduced to the blues in Mississippi. It's basically when I came to Florida. Because when I first came to Florida, people would laugh and call you country and all that stuff. So I wouldn't tell people I was from Mississippi.
Oh. Okay.
And I was sounding like, chunk me this, told me that. And I was sounding. And when I went to New York, the girls would laugh at me. People laugh at me. But one thing about them, they did laugh, but they did correct me. So what happened is that I started singing jazz. I wanted to get away from the blues. I was ashamed of the blues. Oh. So that's when you hear a lot of Billie Holiday in my voice. because I started
Okay.
singing a lot of Billie Holiday stuff.
Okay.
I started doing a lot of Billie Holiday, and I was just recording with a big band in New York, a big jazz band.
Oh yeah.
And yeah. Then when I came back to South Florida, I still wanted to do some singing, so I hooked up with me and just a piano player, Josiah. And we went different places just doing supper club type stuff.
Right.
You know, he told me one day, because I never told him I was from Mississippi, he said, you know what? They got a lot of Whitney Houston, they got a lot of these other singers out there, but you would be great in the blues.
So he brought you back
Yeah,
into the...
yeah.
Look
That's what
at
he said. He said,
that.
you would do great in the
Wow.
blues. So then that's when I started accepting who I truly am.
Okay, so you
I-
stepped back into the blues.
I
Oh,
got back to
boy.
my true roots of what I am and who I am, and that is the blues.
Yes.
And you have a lot of these now. You don't have a lot of these originals still left now.
That's right.
A lot of them gone, you know.
That's right.
I'm at that age too where I'm one of them ones that's still hanging on, but still here.
Yeah.
But I still want to represent the blues wherever I go.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Because everything, all this music in America came from the blues.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. Yeah. So Keith, you this kid coming up. How why blues?
It's funny. A couple years ago, I talked to my brother. There was 3 of us in a room together growing up, and we had this AM radio, and it was called WLAC, 1040 on your AM dial. It was from Nashville, Tennessee. I've talked to musicians being on the road. I mean, from Canada to South Florida that remember that station.
Yes.
And they would play James Brown and B.B. King and John Lee Hooker and Muddy Waters. And I remember one of the DJs was named John R. You could buy 45s through the mail. They sold live chickens through the mail. It was incredible. And I heard this music and I thought it was like this whole other world. It just appealed to me. And what was funny was talking to my brother a couple years ago on the phone. He goes, remember that radio station we used to listen to, late at night in the bedroom, and they played all that Hank Williams and all that country music? I said, I don't remember that part. It's funny, that stuck out to him, and he remembered that.
Yeah.
And all I remembered was John Lee Hooker and Muddy Waters. That's all that I remember. And
Yeah.
that's what mattered. And that music just affected me so much. And it's from what Sheba said, I worked with Bo Didley and got to be around Muddy and John Lee Hooker. And the same thing you said about all you could get on the radio was like country music.
Oh, yeah.
There was a huge country music influence on a lot of these blues creators. They didn't know they were making history. They were just trying to make a living.
But can you mention something that is really incredible? Bo Didley. How did you get to hook up with Bo Didley?
It's funny. I had made a decision to do the blues and nothing but the blues.
Yeah.
I was a human jukebox for years, playing top 40 or southern rock music. And I went to a concert in Tampa at the London Victory Club, and I saw this guy Johnny Winter. It's just amazing, one of my hero guitar players. And I said, that's what I want to do. And I've got, next time both of you come to the studio, there's a picture from 1985 of me, my ticket, Johnny Winter, and then a year later there's a picture of me playing the blues on that stage, waiting for Bo Didley to come out.
Oh,
Wow.
And I knew Bo. I'm
That's
so
amazing.
much into the history of this music. I know McKinley Morganfield is Muddy Waters. I know Chester Burnett is Howlin' Wolf. Bo Didley's name is Ellis McDaniel, and I heard he was living locally, and I found him in the phone book.
Oh.
And I called up, started talking to his assistant, and occasionally would talk to him on the phone until one day he needed a band to do a show in Gainesville. and they called me.
Oh,
And
Isn't
that
amazing?
began like a
Beautiful, man.
over 20-year friendship.
oh, wow.
You know,
That's,
I must say that's one of the reasons I like Keith, because he have more of the history
Yes.
of all those old blues players
yes.
than I do, because he's so much older than I.
Yeah. Just by a little bit.
And that is
But he had-
exactly
What
right.
the
That's-
Queen is saying is just by this
Yeah,
much.
Blues is
but-
about the truth.
But
Yeah.
but see, I hear it from the history, but you have the history, and you have educated me so much on the history of a lot of these old blues players. I mean, he's calling their real names and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
And in the country, that's what we was hearing a lot in Mississippi country, and I love singing country music. 'Cause when I go out and do my little single shows, I
Right.
do a lot of country
Right.
stuff,
Right.
and I love it. It's beautiful.
It's we had done a show with you at, I think, Silver Springs, one of the first kind of bigger shows that we did.
The Ocala days or
Yeah,
something like
something.
that. So, yeah.
And it was in this big
Oh.
open area, and as soon as she started singing, I saw people start coming over the hills,
That's why-
holding their cell phones
That's
up.
why I
and I
said-
thought we're on to something here.
Yeah, that's why I said what I said earlier. When Sheba starts to sing, everything stops. You
Yeah.
can't be speaking when she's singing, because I think it's your voice. And I think because you spent some time with the Billie Holiday flavor,
Yeah.
I think that helped when you came back to the blues with that.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that?
I would say I was influenced a whole lot by Billie Holiday, but Etta James
Oh yeah, Etta,
Yeah.
yeah. But
And
that's
B.B.
a whole
King.
yeah. Yeah.
and B.B. King, I was influenced by them. And another thing is when I go to the nursing homes and I do my little singer shows, I sing a lot of those old standards, like All of Me and you know,
Yep.
Wonderful World. And those people, I do a lot of stuff in memory care. And a lot of them people, they can't move, they can't do much anything. But when the music starts
Yeah, it's a
and I
different
start
story.
singing, I can see them little fingers moving or their feet moving
Yeah.
or something like that. The voice reaches them, the music reaches them, and that's very rewarding for me.
Yeah, that's
Very much
beautiful.
so.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing. She loves doing those shows, but even you just love singing and putting it out there, because it even at rehearsals, if we're working on something, it's 110%.
Oh,
She is
Yeah.
she is all it's all
110.
in it. It is.
yeah. But I
It's a
do
wide
love, I
open
do
season.
love the live, you know, the with the band. I love that. With the band behind me and these guys, they get a great support for me.
Yeah, yeah. Spontaneous stuff happens.
Yeah, they're great support for me. With Keith on guitar and Ernesto on drum and Bob on bass. And right now we have a great
It's a good solid lineup,
circulation. Right.
and it's free enough and open enough for her to just be able to let go and express herself, and she knows we have her back.
And another thing, we do all original.
Okay.
All original. Some Keith wrote and some I wrote, but all original stuff. And a lot of young people,
On this CD,
I have
Right
to say, is that a lot of young, especially a lot of young black children, a lot of them haven't been introduced to the blues.
that is.
But when I go
Absolutely.
someplace and the audience is like predominantly black and young too, then they'll come to me, "Ooh, I like that. My mama used to listen to that." But they are not being introduced to it the way they should.
Yeah.
Now, the white children, they like it too.
Yeah.
You know, I did at that concert we did did that song Queen of Your Dreams. These young girls come around, "Ooh, we like that." and the songs we write is everybody think the blues is just down, but it's
yeah.
not.
Yeah, that's it.
Mine's is fun. It's sexual, but it's nice. Sex
Yeah.
sells.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's fun. It's beautiful. Get the CD, you love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell
And
them.
we will have this CD coming up on the screen right about now. Good. You saw that? And we will also have Sheba's information about how to find her website, if you want to book Sheba, how to get in touch with her. All of that stuff will be in the description, all right? As well as Keith Caton Blues Band we need to touch on, because Keith, I know you are bubbling your own pot of blues. What's happening on your side with the blues band?
Well, we're looking forward to the new year, doing some shows and doing some rehearsing and doing some recording, hopefully. And we've been fortunate enough to have Sheba pop in and do a few with us together.
Okay.
And also, I just want you to know how much I appreciate your support of what I'm doing. Always talk, whatever's going on, talk to Sheba about it. And beyond working together musically, I appreciate our friendship and the time that I've known you, and we have a great communication with each other.
Guys-
you like me, huh?
I like
Guys,
you.
that
I
what you,
want a New Year's Eve present.
what you witnessing right there, that is what love is, okay? What you just saw Keith do, how he spoke about Sheba and that friendship,
Yeah.
you just experienced what real love is, and I could see it in his face that he really appreciates, you know, the person that he's next to. You know?
I love the music, and I do love you. And there's a song on this CD called "Blues of My Soul,"
Blues of My Soul.
which is
Yeah.
a story of her. When we have played it live, everything just goes quiet. People get into the story. It's very bare bones. It's like open tuning guitar and her voice, and just like a steady, like a heartbeat of a bass drum. And she's telling the story of her life. And when we recorded that, we had to do it all at once. It wasn't
Right.
like we played the music and she told the story. She was telling the story. It was one take. We did it, and it just incredible how it came out. She was kind enough to record 3 of my songs that I had written, and she sure put a whole new spin and flavor on those too. I thought it was really cool.
So what is happening is, listen, the queen of the blues, the Mississippi Queen, Sheba, it's all about this lady right here. Now, my man here, fortunately, I've been working with Keith as a drummer, playing in his band, and, you know, the first time I met Keith, just his energy and his passion for what he does, I think I saw someone that is honest about making the blues, playing the blues. And I think it came from his connection with these great artists he spoke
Okay.
about.
Oh, yes.
You know, and of course his involvement with the Queen. When is the next performance with the band you both are in coming up in like in 2023 or?
The next thing is in the early spring, I believe. I don't have you'll know the date. We'll get out, we'll let you know.
Yes.
But doing a show in Gainesville, and we just found out about this a couple days ago, with a guy named Chris Kane, a really top-notch blues player from the West Coast.
Yes.
There's certain guys that are like inside the industry that other musicians talk about. He's one of those guys.
Right.
And we got the call to do a show with him. But also early in September, this CD that we did, actually, I had COVID bad, and I got a text from you and Ernesto saying, "Hey, get better. We've got blues to play." This thing just went to number, was it 13 or 14 on the Roots
14.
Music report?
Say that again. Let people hear this. We have a little bit of distraction with a truck here.
This had been on the Roots.
This CD.
This CD, and there's a Roots Music report which keeps track of music that is not made by Taylor Swift. It's real America, just not real commercial stuff. This is a blues album, and they keep track of blues albums. We made it up to number 14 on that chart.
Wow.
Which was amazing. We put a lot of work into this. Her record company held it up during COVID.
And that's this CD you're talking about.
This one right here. This is the blues. And,
Beautiful.
And it's just incredible. So I get to work with her and help her with whatever it is that she wants to do in her career. And then I get to work with you, Sean, and our band to get out of my system things I want to do. So I've got the best of both worlds. I'm the luckiest guy that there is. And I love the music.